Is this microphone working? Alright, I'm good. Hello, everyone. What's going on? Leon here, your host that talks about your the internet, the games, and what's been happening in the world of technology. Which that is what's something I talk about. Now, if you're new in the channel, uh, thank you for coming in and welcome aboard onto the Leon LeGreat channel. Or if you're not new, welcome in, welcome back, and thanks for dropping by again. So this time, I have to go ahead and talk about something that is something. It's a lot of news has been happening since last week, and coming up this week as well. And tomorrow, we never know what goes on tomorrow, right? But we do know that there are certain issues that we can't ignore. And I'm honestly, there's not going to be any good news coming out in the near future. And so, today I wanted to go ahead and talk about a certain topic, especially I was going to, over on my podcast, which, and if you have not heard of episode 228 of the Leon LeGreat podcast, my podcast that I do, well, I've talked about the state of the UK, so you guys can listen to it whenever you get some free time. Now, I wanted to go over certain things I wanted to speak up on, because there are some critical things I wanted to bring up that I've missed on the podcast as well. As the news cycle continues on with the UK, and in fact, the censorship that's been happening as of recent, there's been going to be a lot more things coming down the pipeline as far as the news cycle in the UK and the censorship laws. Now, look, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised what the UK is going to do next, because this is a country that's now to a point that values denigration of freedom of speech and freedom of privacy than anything else. In fact, this law, it's going to continue to go on pretty badly throughout the next couple months between internet users, because let's be fair though, our most of our life, or in fact, we use the internet all the time. For anyone that's in a very developing nation knows that all of us, like you and I, are in the internet all the time. And this wouldn't surprise me. Like, in fact, there's been news about this going on with the UK. In fact, looking into blocking VPNs. VPN use surging in UK after online censorship laws kicked in. So you see what I'm saying? This isn't going to work for a long time, and at some point, this people are not going to give in. I'm not going to give in too, as well. So as far as it goes, in fact, this is what they're going to do. In fact, try to go out and screw around with the face recognition and all the things they're going to do. In fact, this is been recently posted, like 5 days ago on Boing Boing, and there's going to be more articles to come as far as censorship goes and blocking the use of VPNs in areas like this too. So it's definitely going to happen down the road, and nobody's going to be happy. And not just the UK, but even in my own show, I failed to talk about the United States more in depth, and also in other countries, especially in Australia. Australia! Oh my God! And Philippines, and I believe there is going to be a law as well in the what was that country? Oh, in the rest of the European Union too, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be a point that we're going to see more censorship along the way. So it's like, what has it comes down to too. And I really hope that people aren't as stupid as giving up your rights or giving your ID information out to these internet companies or to the government in general, because that never seems to go well. I can tell you right there too. In fact, before I started this recording, I was listening to like I went at some point that we decided to block certain things on the internet, deeming what's safe and what's not safe. And first of all, as a grown ass adult, first of all, we gotta learn how to make our own decisions. Now, on the other hand, I get why people think that in the government think they're doing good, but then on the other hand, is that they may not even come out of this as being the good guys or the saviors in this bill as well, because when you think about what these people in office are trying to do, when it comes down to them, the saying that comes down, I hear all the time, and I'm going to use this as well: the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and which is very true, because these people in office are not the smartest at all. And just because they think they're going to end up doing, they think they're doing something righteous and right to protecting the younglings or the young people, especially under 18 or younger, they think they're going to do this just by censoring the internet. I gotta tell you, this is going to be a huge pushback. And also, the issue I find with this as well is that a lot of people are going to revert to VPNs. And I'll tell you one thing, I've already started doing this as well, because if you've already seen the signs, what's been happening in the UK, they're going to end up doing this in first world English-speaking countries that are going to do this. In fact, like these Five Eyes countries, Canada, United States, UK, New Zealand, and Australia. And you're going to see that shift happening all over the place sooner than later. And this is not just something I'm coming up right there too. Because if you've not been following up what's been happening with the internet lately, you should be paying a lot more attention right now. And you probably will sit in the sidelines and stay ignorant for so long that the changes will come by and pass you without even knowing. And let me tell you, the sites that are being affected in the UK, like Reddit, Wikipedia, X or Twitter, Facebook, and majority of the social media platforms, and including, if I'm not mistaken, TikTok. Yeah, it's probably TikTok as well. I'm just going about it on memory, but looking at it right there is that you've got to understand the telltale signs. What is happening? Look, if the UK has done it, so will the US as well, because it's not going to get better over time. So don't be too ignorant thinking that things will get a lot better over time. It isn't. First of all, if you want a safety act or create a safety act right there, here's the one word I think that comes out to mind the most. Here it is. It's called being a parent. Be damn responsible for your children. If you think that if you think or you notice your kids are looking at something they shouldn't look up, then how about be damn responsible? Then instead of rely on the government to watch your every move. You know, and that's the problem with this, is that most parents do not seem to look and be the responsible ones right there too. And if I'm not mistaken, you've got pretty much activist groups or the safety groups are these screeching minorities going out there. Talk to the governments about this, because that whatever happened to the children, we need to do this because there's many children that goes onto these adult websites. And to me, my reaction upon this is that first of all, this is going to get a lot worse. And a lot worse. And this is not just going about this on just about protecting the children on adult or prawn sites. You have to understand that these implementations affects a lot more than just the children, because it will get a lot worse, more so than you think. Okay, and also the one of the biggest issues I do find with especially ID verification is that ID verification does not work, and it doesn't matter where you give it to, private or public uh, information to the government. It just doesn't work. And one of the recent examples, in fact, this recent example was the T app. And if you've not heard about the T, and so here it is. This is what I've been seeing on other stories. Like for this is what this was a very big one. Hackers leak 13,000 user photos and IDs from the T app, designed as a women's safe space. And which goes on over here down below. The hackers have breached the T app, which recently went viral as a place for women to safely talk about men. And tens of thousands of women's selfies and photo IDs have now seamlessly been leaked online. Which, by the way, application is garbage, but I will tell you is that this has nothing to do with spreading wellness to other women. In fact, this is just an app that other women basically cohort with each other and just come together talking crap about men. But that's what I've found out, and that's what I've understand as well. Which again, I'm not going to go to the surface level details on the T app because this was talked about from other creators, and especially I'll just give you the short story is that there was no security behind this as well with the T app, and this should be a lot more concerning. Well, at looking at it at a service level, while I do not like the T app and what the user base was doing to talk down men, but the funny thing is that these people done themselves to themselves, even though the situation is horrible. You have to understand that the situation together is just horrible of its own. So no matter how you take it, it's just bad. But also that the other issue I want to talk about is the U.S. State age assurance laws for social media. So 9 states have passed upon this already, and in fact, my home state, Georgia, which has already been affected already, took place last month on the 1st, and now the one that is currently injuncted, which is Arkansas, Ohio, and California, which this law has not been passed yet. It looks like it's in the process. I do know that certainly it's going to be a point that most states are going to pass this through because no surprise, just like most politicians, what they want to do is pat themselves right in the shoulders and tell the public that we have done the best way we can do to protect the young children off these dirty websites, which is not always the case. Now, if you look at the U.S. state age verification laws for adult content, or aka prawn content, as you whatever you want to say. Plus, I can't say the full word in YouTube because it'll be a point that I have to filter myself certain words, so I've got to watch my mouth over this too, unfortunately. So even in this one, the AVPA, which I'll put the link down in the description so you can go over, but I will tell you is that almost half the United States have passed this law already. It's already taking place right now. So here in the bottom it says, this page reflects the position on the 20th of May 2025. 24 states have passed laws requiring age verifications to access online pornography. So in this case, we're going to go over the states that have already passed this through. Louisiana, Utah, Mississippi, Virginia, Arkansas, Texas, good old Texas, not Montana, North Carolina, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Nebraska, Indiana, Alabama, Oklahoma. 16 is Florida, which passed the Florida HB3 back in January 1st. South Carolina, Tennessee, number 18, number 19, Missouri, and let's see, my home state of Georgia passed the SB 351 back in July 1st. Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, which already passed since North Dakota passed since yesterday, actually. North Dakota HB 153, or excuse 156, and then North Dakota SB 2380. Then Arizona, the 24th state. In fact, they're going to be in the works on it pretty soon, which is going to be next month on the September 25th. Yeah, September 25th right there. So yeah, so these bills are right there. What I've even noticed, the whole big picture here is where this is most of the southern part of the United States. I haven't seen that being passed in most of the northern states. Right now, it's good as it is, but it looks like it's very much pinpointed closely to these conservative states. But still, if you look at it this way, do you think that this is going to solve the whole issue right there? No, I don't think so. It isn't going to solve the whole issue right there. In fact, the one thing I can think about is that what can it go wrong? Oh, anything can go wrong. And this is the problem, is that most children or most young people can bypass this through proxies or through VPNs, which in this case, I know that a lot of these young people are going to go through free versions of VPNs. And my issue, even with the free VPNs, has a lot of issues when it comes to the privacy, because I wouldn't ever use a free VPN. I would just go for a paid VPN and knowing that I will be safe. For instance, the one I'm using right there is Proton VPN, which gave me a good starting rate for 99 cents, but then until next month it's going to go back up to its $9.99 price point, which that's the fee. That's unless if I want to continue with Proton VPN, and which by the way works great. But by the way, is not a sponsorship, so I'm not sponsored by Proton by any means. But I'm just saying too, because you're gonna see a big spike with VPNs more and more time when time goes on too, because we're looking over the president, this whole big presidents there, and you have to understand, are you really going to continue to push this, even if in countries like the United States, which here we are, we claim to be this free, quote unquote, free country, but we're really not. But yeah, this is going to be very concerning as well, because not the UK's done it already. It's past it. The US is concerning because here we are just creating new kinds of issues, which all that's going to do is create a lot more issues down the road with these U.S. age verification laws, for example, which I myself is not, I don't approve all of this as well. I think anyone with a brain, with a thinking brain should know that this isn't going to work, and I don't think it's going to work the long term. Because for me, the reason I'm talking about this now, because it's going to cause a lot of issues down the road, and even though I could just go out and stay silent upon this issue and not talk about this, the more I stay silent upon this, it, even though there are a lot of content creators that are much larger than me, the issue I find upon this is that you cannot continue to say silent. This is not the way to go on this. And so you look at it right here, because if you think that this is going to be just a UK, the US thing, no, 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 no. Australia, the Philippines, they're going to have their own laws on this, which I've heard from another channel that they are working on a provision point where they are looking to pass a certain law right there. But however, Australia, on the other hand, it's going to be really ridiculous. And then the rest of the EU, the rest of the European countries are going to have this kind of law, which tells you right there, yeah, I don't think it's going to get any better moving on this point too, because even though as a small creator, I don't see this getting any better, because the more you sit in the sidelines and expect somebody else to fix it, unfortunately, you cannot stay on the silence forever and let this be the case. And I'm glad there's more people talking about this as well, because that is a fine line where that you cannot cross. As someone that I've grown up in the internet, first of all, this is not it. This is not the way to go. And look, there are probably situations where there you can get this fixed or whatever, but having age verification laws, I mean, at this point we're coming to an ecosystem where it's going to be a age verification ecosystem where everything that you do on the internet, everywhere that you browse, you have to follow these laws by each state. If not by each state, then it's going to slowly crawl its way up to northern states as well. So we're talking about the biggest reflection on this. It's going to be a big impact right there. And look, even though I'm reading this through, the more I see this, like right here, most of them I'm going over. First of all, this is basically appealing to the whole conservative crowd in the rest of the U.S. And then you look at the U.S. state age assurance laws for social media going over. First of all, it's a mix. So you got people from the blue states, red states, all that, pretty much everyone, all the above, that is agreeing upon this too. Because at the end of the day, we're definitely going to continue to be in this very close ecosystem too. And also the politicians on the left and the right are basically shaking hands at each other, thinking that this is going to be the benefit, become a huge benefit for everybody. And what we're doing is doing good by on the namesake of protectionism. In the name of protectionism, we have to go ahead and do this. Otherwise, we be failing the American people. Which that's pretty much what most politicians take, which is really ridiculous. If you think about it, it's really ridiculous where things are going. Okay, and in a footnote, I want to go ahead and end upon this video is, look, the best to anyone. I really hope that at this point nobody gives in with the whole ID verification. This is a big scam. This law right here. And here politicians thinking that they're doing this for a greater good, and to me, the way I'm thinking is, what greater good are these politicians are doing to the open internet? I mean, I can't say that the internet was great before. Sure, we've had our problems with the internet, and this wasn't. It's not perfect. Let's admit that too. You know, anything that you go on the internet, there are going to be garbage on the internet. I agree, and my thing is that there are certain. My personal belief is that there's no way. I don't think a child should be left unattended to be by themselves on the internet. And now, unless if you have parental filters set up for your computers or for your phones, I do think there are better solutions. And the issue is that these politicians are just there to fill their pockets, no more, no less, right there too. And I find this to be this biggest piece of crap we've ever witnessed in modern history, right there. And look, the internet is to a place that I hate to say that there are going to be certain websites that this will be pretty normalized, and I don't want this to be normalized by any means. No, 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 at all. In fact, if you look at this website called prawnbiz.com, in fact, I like this article right there. I'm going to leave this article right there, just ending this video on a footnote. All I'm saying is that you guys don't even give a, and it's really ridiculous. So anyways, this is Leon Gray out, signing out right now. I'll have all the links down below so you guys can check it out for your own time and for your own read as well too. So guys, take care, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary, because I know it was a long one, so you have to excuse me. But honestly, as a small creator, I can't see myself staying silent forever, because something needs to be said, because otherwise nobody's going to be there to save you. In fact, we got to have more pushback, more voices going against this issue about this, because I'm not for this. I am very anti age verification all the way. This is stupid. By all means. I do think the majority of people, like I've said, that can think, knows that this is not going to work out. Alright, everyone. Have a good one.